We're good to go now. So yeah, just before we get started, we did a quick GDK troubleshooting there. Trying to run GDK status was saying that something like GDK wasn't found, or have you got the exact message at all to hand, Jim? Just so we can be a bit more.
My computer is doing an update, so it won't let me
No, that's
scroll
all right.
up.
No, no worries. But if and when it comes up, shout. But yeah, basically ASDF was complaining it couldn't find GDK, so it's like okay, let's try gem install GDK. ASDF was complaining it couldn't find gem, so we tried bundle. ASDF said it couldn't find bundle. So yeah, ASDF wasn't finding anything. ASDF install said everything was already installed. In the end, ASDF reshim solved it, and everything was good to go again. Do you want to talk about your GDK problem, Marco? Or
No, actually, I basically before getting out of the office, I tried to update GDK and it failed, telling me that the command GitLab update was not found.
Mhm.
I ran GDK update again, and it looks like to be working now.
Nice. Yeah, I occasionally find ones like that where it's like I'll just try it a couple of times, whether it's unlikely but possible that between the time I first ran it and second ran it, something had been pushed. But I
Yeah.
think that's unlikely. I think it's more realistic that just yeah, there was a sort of almost dependency that was installed by the first GDK update, and then the second one was good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hope that you don't mind. In fact, let me just make sure the usual that I've moved everything off of my screen.
Yeah, I know over the weekend they had a bunch of. They were trying to update Ruby, and it broke my JK as well. Pretty
It's
interesting stuff.
interesting. I didn't notice that, but then I guess I probably haven't done an update for a little while. Um, so where are we? Where are we? I'm meeting Raymond in London on Tuesday next week, so a week today, and I really hope, excuse me, losing my voice there. I really hope that we're gonna accelerate the GDK in a container stuff, which I've been using that container now for must be at least 2 months since I last met Raymond up in London. It might even be 3 months, and it's been solid. So I think we're going to try and maybe get recruit some community support as well, but try and get that documented and see if we can start getting some more guinea pigs and make that become the norm because it's a little bit easier to blow away and restore, as well as the fact that we can automate the creation of the build, if that makes sense. Where before I was basically manually creating GDK in a box. Raymond's already got a pipeline that builds the GDK in a box container. So
Are you doing a shallow
super.
clone on that one?
Can't remember. I don't think so, but maybe.
That'll save you like 6 gigs of
I guess the
space.
question is what can and can't you do if you've got a shallow clone? Like, will that prevent you checking out a random branch? Or yeah, I'm not overly familiar with what shallow clone actually does or doesn't allow you to do.
I remember shallow cloning GDK maybe the first or the second time that I installed it. And I ended up removing it and reinstalling it because I it's been 2 years, so I don't really remember what went wrong, but I
Mm.
couldn't do something. I'm pretty sure there were workarounds to that, but it was just simpler to remove
Yeah,
and
it's tricky because I wonder like why yeah, I feel like the EP team or someone else. There's probably been conversations. There's probably even an issue discussing it. So we'll have to have a look, revisit that at some point. But the GDK in a box, I mean, yeah, I know size is a bit of an issue, but it's more about speed. And if I do a like native GDK install, I think I'm expecting between 2 to 4 hours for that installation to kind of, and that's assuming probably that I've got all the prereqs installed, like ASDF and Homebrew and stuff like that.
That much time? 2 to 4 hours?
I think so. I mean, maybe it's improved more recently, but it definitely used to be hours to install. And the GDK in a box, like, yeah, okay, if your internet connection's not very fast, it might take you hours to download it. But um, the the GD when you run GDK install, it does all of those clones anyway. So yeah, it's all the sort of jumping through hoops and compiling stuff and pulling stuff for different architectures and blah 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 that it sort of saves on. So let's have a look what this issue MR was that Nicholas shared yesterday. So yeah, I know this is something I've seen this issue before, and big up for working on something with 180 upvotes that's 8 years old. But let's have a look. So it says from the back end side, I'm almost done, but the front end is giving me problems. This is my current patch. So we've got an MR and a diff. And the problem is the time zone does not get properly persisted. If I save the MR with the values from the screenshot and open the edit page, it shows 12:09 in time zone UTC. The time is not wrong, but it shows different from what I have configured. Okay. Okay, so I guess I want to try and pull this branch, which is going to be fun because GitLab is on fire right now. And we're 506 commits behind the target. I have no idea how far my one is. What I'm going to try is my friend, but I suspect this won't work.
Update worked.
Try and find out what branch I'm on.
Oh, I just did an update and pulled at least 1,000 commits, so it should be good to pull that branch.
Oh, you're up for sharing?
I'm not on that branch. I'm on main master.
Yeah. Master, yeah.
But I can try. Let me.
What I tend to do is, well, you saw that command that I ran, right? The curl git apply, so that it basically applies the patch to your current head rather than trying to check out the branch. Because if you check out the branch, if it's based off of a different head, then you can get into a bit of trouble.
Yeah. So can you share the command because I wasn't looking?
Absolutely.
Let's see if GDK is working.
Huh.
Otherwise, that would be pretty useless. Oh, now, wow, the GDK loading supports system dark mode as well.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Oh. Oh, maybe. Okay, GDK is working. So let's share my screen. Okay. And
So that's one, but you'll also need to apply. There's a patch. Let me send you to a link.
That's from Niklas, and I also need to run the migration. How do you usually do to apply this?
So I definitely don't do the most intelligent way, but I just so from my terminal I type code like temp.patch
Yeah,
and basically paste in the diff into the patch.
that's pretty much what I also do.
And then just git apply temp.patch or whatever it is.
Okay, this one's not needed anymore. Okay. But I do need to run the migration.
Okay, cool.
It's been a while. What was it?
Rails space
Rails or Rake?
db colon migrate, or
Was it Rails or Rake?
might be rake.
Migrate.
Try Rails rather than rake. I might be oversimplifying it. Been back on the contributors.gitlab.com project again the last week or so, Marco. So we'll maybe get to talk a bit about that later as well.
Oh, Rails worked.
Awesome.
Hopefully, yeah, it's working. It's running. Oh,
Oh.
okay. No, it deleted what I think it was probably all the migration files.
think it's done what it needs anyway. So maybe try and reload the front end. And I'm not even sure where that screenshot that Nicholas shared. Like, I don't even know. Has the MR got in recreation steps on it yet? No, it hasn't. I don't even know how to have like looked at any of the diff to see how do we even get to that screen.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good question.
I
So
guess maybe the merge request widget on a merge request, maybe there's a sort of
time zone drop down, pages, project merge requests, edit. Oh, I guess it's on the edit page of the merge request.
oh,
I think. Well, okay.
meanwhile, I think I'll do a GDK update as well. It's been a while. Although I probably shouldn't, knowing that GitLab's currently on fire, but hey ho.
Come on. You can do it. Come on. Okay. Mhm. Mm. Nice. Okay, that's better. Edit. Yep, merge after.
Awesome.
And this is why this is okay. Select time zone. So if we try to set to merge it tomorrow at 13, come on, o'clock. Okay, time zone UTC +2. Okay. So tomorrow, 13 o'clock, UTC
Yeah.
save changes. It's much to be okay. We don't see the time here.
Yeah, so it's defaulted back to UTC basically, hasn't it?
Yes.
What
I-
time zone is your profile set to be? Is your profile set to be UTC?
Good question. Let's see.
Just read that message again from Nicholas to understand. So, problem is it doesn't persist. If I save the MR with the values from the screenshot and open the edit page, shows the UTC. The time itself is not wrong, but it's showing different from what I have configured.
Where
But
was
sure.
I need to reload it? I can't remember. Where do we set the time zone? Is it on
Oh,
the
good question. Let me look. Let me have a look.
I think it's on accounts for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, edit profile. Edit profile.
Oh, it's profile.
Yeah, right at the top.
Oh.
Time
Time
zone
zone, yeah.
settings.
Time zone. Let's try.
It defaults to UTC, I think.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, makes
So now if you
sense.
go back, does it still keep that same time?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Okay, so all we got to do is figure out how to get it to use your profile's time zone, right?
Yeah, and I'm also curious to see what the database contains.
I'm interested if you change the time zone drop down now, does it change the time? I guess it doesn't, but
Okay, so let's try from +1 to from +2 to +3. So
no, no. I just keen to see if like,
but I'm
you know,
curious
if
to see if this now will go to 10 o'clock or down to 8.
yeah, you feel free to try. I'm fairly sure it will go to 10.
I think it will go to.
No, I think it'll go to 8. So, sorry, yeah, 8. Yeah. I think it'll go to 8. Because if we had filled it in the first place at 11 o'clock with +3, it would have gone to 8. And that's essentially what we just did. So, yeah.
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 So
Can you just
So-
now that you've set your time zone in your user profile, can you go to another merge request and just go to edit? And because you haven't, like, this one's now, I'm going to say tainted, but if you just pick another one, and I think all the issue is just getting it to default in with the right value, right? So
Yeah. And I think the issue is that the value on the database is set to UTC, is saved in UTC.
I don't think that should really matter though.
So the question I have: do we even need to see what time zone it is in, though? If you set your profile, right?
It depends, because if you want to set the time zone that the merge should happen based on the location of one of your colleagues, then it's in a different time zone.
Makes it a bit easier, I guess, doesn't it? But yeah, so I think what we probably need to do is look at assuming that the time zone defaults to UTC every time. We just need to see if the time zone, this sort of value is being passed in.
So on the brand new MR, everything is set to
Just says select time zone. It's just
Ah.
empty, right? So yeah, we just need to have a look at what component is this? Merge request edit index.js.
merge request.
I think it's probably the one you're on, but you just want to open it ideally in normal mode rather than weird.
Let's see. Merge request edit index.js. GitLab drop down.
Yeah, so we've got I think
Edit merge time zone drop down. Time zone data, and time zone data is
I think that's just the list of time zones, though, right? What we actually need is to tell it what
good.
times. You know?
So then I would like to see how the time picker is set. And
should we? So we've got el.dataset, time zone data, initial value, and name. Yeah, do you know what? I think all we need to do is I just don't think we're grabbing or injecting or passing or whatever the time zone. I think that's all. You could do a console.log on line 83 to basically log. Maybe el.dataset is the easiest thing to just.
yeah, probably.
I mean, there's other easier, well, not easier, other ways we could grab that as well. But I guess you're gonna want to, yeah. I think it's just a case of passing the time zone in from the back end, or actually it might already be available in. Is it that like gone or whatever it's called?
No, gone is the GitLab with all the values. This is the one. Name,
Yeah.
time zone data, and time zone data is identifier name. Yeah, I think it's the list of
Just all the time zones basically.
yeah, but then what about
So we just need to find out where we get the time zone from, like where we can grab it from, right?
yeah, but I'm curious. Oh, come on.
Oh wow, do you still get this error? I haven't
Why?
seen this for ages.
Yeah, me neither.
It might be because you sort of applied the patch. I don't know. Wouldn't have thought so, but
It was working before. If I restart GDK. Will the Rails console go down? Probably.
Should maybe look at the actual component as well. Time zone drop down, like, because is there something baked into time zone drop down that should actually automatically?
Some data.
Oh, there you go. There was this dot initial time zone. Where's initial time zone come from?
Where are you? Oh,
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, yeah. So is that a method or
yeah, it's a method. Time zones value. Oh, basically it's an initialize rather than an initial. So the value should come from somewhere. Basically, we have the list and the currently selected item. But it's always getting set to 0.
So when we were calling initial time zone earlier, what were we doing? Sorry, we were
this is
passing this dot value. So we need to basically pass this dot value prop, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. And that's coming from this dot value.
An initial value. Okay. So we just need to figure out is it being added to the DOM sort of thing, and if not, why? We look at that merge.
It's not added to the DOM when it's not set, because on the edit page for the MR that we didn't touch, the initial value was not set.
Gotcha. So we need to make sure it's getting.
Yeah, this one should have it.
Okay. I see. Yeah, it is. Cool, awesome. Initial value etc, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think I sort of know what the problem is. I'm looking at, so this comes from underscore metadata.html.haml.
Metadata.
Yeah, can you see about halfway down
on it?
So on line 52.
Yeah.
We're basically passing in the time zone.
Initial value. Time
zone.
Yeah. Yeah, but so if we do
GDK PSQ. Oh yeah. No, that's good. You're gonna grab
the ID, which is. Oh boy. Where's the filter?
Magnifying glass. On the left.
Nope. Here we go.
Nice.
GraphQL. So group. That's the group. Oh, really?
I normally search for notes in I grep for notes in the network thing like you're doing there, because the notes gets past the ID rather than the IID.
Yeah, but I have to load this one.
Yeah, of course.
Project. Merge request. 26.
Nice.
So if we do merge request 26. And now this clear, it's not loaded on the console. That was merge after. UTC plus 0. Let's
Yeah, I
try.
suspect, like, I don't know Postgres well enough, but like, do we seriously store
It should,
time zone? Like, I assume we just converted everything to UTC and stored it as UTC.
but if we do, then we lose it.
Yeah,
Like
but we don't need it. Like, why do we need it? We don't care. As long as we know the UTC time, like, then we display, if you edit it and your time zone is set to Rome, then it will show you the time in Rome time. If I edit it and mine's set to London, then it will show me in London time. Like, I don't.
So you think we should change this to not use the time zone from the merge after value, but use the time zone from the user?
I would try that. Yeah. I don't know if I
Uh,
think that's what we should do, but I would try that. Yeah.
so that, and also the value shown here should be converted to the time zone of the user.
Yeah, probably.
So type date time local.
Or maybe we don't have to. I don't know.
Well, it should, because if I set this to 8 a.m. in UTC plus 2, I would expect
Yeah.
to see 8 and UTC plus 2, or rather, now I'm setting it to 8 in UTC plus 2 because I wanted to set based on the Rome time zone. But if my time zone is different,
Yeah.
yeah. So, first of all, how do we get the user time zone? Time zone? User.time zone. Let's see.
Possibly.
Find one time zone. Okay.
Is that in the right?
I think so.
Soon find out, I guess.
So this should be user current user dot time zone. So this should always be UTC plus 2 now.
It's currently saved at UTC plus 3, yeah.
Nope. Plus 2. But if
No, I mean in the merge request, what was it doesn't matter. It was always coming up as just UTC, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
okay, perfect. So we know that's definitely working.
Yeah, just to make sure if I change this to
perfect. Yeah, great idea.
London. And now this should be set to UTC plus 1. Come on. Yep, working. So now
we just need to update that time. Again, I don't know if this has already been through UX and this is how they don't want it to work, or if this isn't how Nicholas wants it to work, but it's a fix, maybe not the fix he's looking for. But
yeah. So merge after, then we have to change this to the time zone of the user. So how do we do that?
Have you got Duo running?
Oh, let's see. I don't remember. Oh, the icon changed.
Oh, there's an icon. I didn't know there was an icon. How'd you get that up?
I don't know. I just saw it.
Oh, nice.
I saw a new icon. Oh, it's Duo. Okay. How do I convert update time to a specific time so in Ruby in Rails.
Yeah.
The time. Oh, it's in time zone and you pass the string. Really?
Cool.
In time zone and we pass this one. Save. So this was in 8 UTC. So it should be 9 London.
Okay.
Hopefully. Yep.
Awesome.
And if we change the time zone to
UTC or
well, yeah, if you go to UTC, we should get. Is there a free UTC without?
yeah, there was, I think, is right in the middle.
So this should now be 8.
Ten. I always get confused. Yeah, 10.
Why? Oh, because
Well, yeah,
Why?
yeah. So now UTC time now is 11. For me, it's 12, and for you, it's 13. So
yeah, because this is always getting converted back to the current user time
Yeah.
zone and not the time zone that you actually set.
yeah.
So basically, I want this to merge on Thursday at 2 p.m. on the time zone of my colleague that's in Tokyo. So it's 7. Why don't? Oh, it's plus 9. It's plus 7.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe,
it's
don't know.
PC plus 9. It's my time zone plus 7.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, so okay. On their time, they would be able to see the EMR merging at 2 p.m. I
Yeah.
would see it happening at
6 a.m. maybe.
plus 3. No, 5 a.m.
You're
Oh.
set to London at the moment.
I'm set on to London. Yeah, 6. And if I change to UTC,
To Rome.
oh, this is now I should see 7. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
It does make sense. It's complicated, but it does make sense. So the only changes that we made are these 2 lines here. How do we want to test?
So what I would probably, I mean, to be honest, you could just copy and paste them and share them and as a comment. Like otherwise, what I sometimes do is I would revert those 2 lines, do a git add, so stage the changes, all of Nicholas's changes. Then I would modify these 2 lines and do a git diff. But I don't know if that's really necessary. I think if you say where these lines are from, it's easy enough to.
Yeah. Is it okay if I send these 2 lines to you to start writing a comment because I have to make a quick call?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so stop sharing my screen. I'll send it to you. And I sent them to Discord.
Perfect, thank you.
And I will be right back.
well. Share my screen while I type. So it was this.
Oh, manually creating the diff. That's a pro move.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna try on that. Just gonna basically say that. Awesome. All good.
Perfect.
Can I show off or talk about contributor platform for a few minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know if you've seen me spamming about it. So a couple of
Yeah, a
things.
little bit.
Yeah, you can't beat off. So first thing was you probably saw it had like a bit of a random domain name before. It's hosted or deployed via our kind of tooling called Runway. So it's something like contributors.runway.gitlab.net or something like that. And I thought now is a good opportunity if we're going to start using this to just quickly sort out the domain name. And we actually had this already registered and it was still pointing to Bitergia or Bitergia or whatever it's called, which we haven't used that for probably a year or so now. So it was basically 404 in anyway.
Okay.
So I got that updated.
So this is still deploying with Runway.
Yep. Okay. Still deploying with Runway, and I'll whip up the project quickly. Yeah, you can actually see a random file pipeline. I don't know why this happened to be the one, but yeah, you can sort of see Runway used to deploy. So yeah, I spent a couple of hours putting together like a homepage, if that's the right term, before it just kind of took you straight onto the leaderboard. But I thought, well, let's at least give people this CTA for like starting the onboarding journey. And then I just kind of hijacked some stuff from to get that. Basically our like landing page. There's something on here, everyone contribute, etc. So but started like tweaking some of the bootstrap styling to match a little bit closer to what we've got on our sort of marketing site as well. Although I'd love to have a few more UX-y front-endy people working on this that could help. Like definitely I want to sort out accessibility, make sure we're actually being a bit more compliant and maybe even have a dark mode available as well. I think I've probably completely broken that.
I have to jump for a really quick 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries.
What does the login actually do, Lee? That you have up in the corner?
Question, yeah, and funny enough, I've actually got a merge request open. Encourage login. That's actually going to pop up with a modal when you land on here, encouraging you to log in as and when I get around to getting it merged in. So what it does is absolutely nothing on here or here or here at the moment. But there are some other features. So if I find a merge request like maybe this one, it's a bit too old. I need to find a newer merge request. Let's see if I can do that. So we now say, if you need any help, click here, or when you're ready for a review, click here. Now, what that does is takes you to that. Now, I'm gonna find this merge request. That's merge request 190, and the project is that. So if I do request review on that, oh, that's interesting. I'm not entirely sure why that's unauthorized. Request.
Well, you know that's how programming works. Anytime you give a demo, it breaks.
Absolutely. Request now. Okay, weirdly that one worked, but review didn't. I will have to look at that. So yeah, the idea is essentially that it's automating the adding of the bot command, and eventually we'll get rid of the bot command entirely. So
So it just posts on your behalf, the commands, essentially.
Exactly. So it takes the, I'm going to say, ambiguity out, because we did have people that were sort of not quite understanding how the commands work. So in order to do that, I guess I'm not going to be able to go back. But I needed to be logged in. If I wasn't logged in, to be fair, it would have automatically logged me in. But anyone that hasn't used the platform before, it will come up with like an OAuth sort of journey to OAuth log you into GitLab. So you don't, you just use GitLab auth essentially. But yeah, then it posts the bot command. But what we want to do, like, I wouldn't say next steps, but yeah, in not too distant future, will be we'll start customizing this, so that we won't suggest that you start your onboarding process if you've already got an onboarding issue open, you've got access to community forks. Maybe if you've already got like 10, 20, 100 merge requests, we won't show you certain stuff like read the guide, because we consider that you're probably ahead of that. The branch that I'm working on at the moment, sneak peek. Basically, when you go into a profile, I've added an edit button. I mean, it looks horrendous at the moment. I need to make it a bit nicer. And that should only appear if you're logged in, and then you can click, and we're sort of working on being able to override whether or not you're a community member. There'll be other stuff in the future, but the reason we want that is because it automatically identifies a number of team members, but some of them, like Paul here, he's a team member, but I think he must push his commits with a different email address to his actual profile. I can find his. So this is his work one that's correctly marked as being a team member. If we find a commit, how do I find the commit? Push to branch. There we go. So if I look at that, we look at his commits. I can't even remember how you do this now. Yeah. So hovering over the avatar there, I can see in the status bar. Am I actually sharing my screen? I am, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see that it goes to Paul GV.
Yeah.
Rather than, well, actually that does as well. Yeah. So some of it might just be an education thing where we need to get people to sort of fix like that commit emails, but ideally, I guess we don't really want. I mean, this in itself is a kind of a red flag, right? It's screaming that something's a bit weird, that this person's got no MRs but lots of commits. So yeah, we want to be able to go in and override. So I'd go in and see, like, clearly there aren't any. Well, there is one with that, and I could say, oh yeah, go in, and I'm gonna save and override them and set them to not be a community member, sort of thing. Sort of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, there's loads of stuff there. I don't know if I'm gonna try. What's it? So I was building a UI. Slash, yeah, here we go. Let's try this and see if it explodes. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Quit. No, damn. There's another part that I may have. Did I? Let's try going just here. I can't remember. No, it wouldn't be here. Manage. Let's just look at the roots. That's easier, right? We've got request help. Manage merge request / the merge request ID. So how does one find the merge request ID, Mark?
You add it to the drop down.
What's that? We should add it to the drop, like here.
Yep.
Is that what you're thinking? That'd be a good idea. Not that
Copy
many people
reference?
need.
The copy reference.
No, that's the IID, unfortunately, rather than the ID.
Oh.
This is that one. Let's reload. Yeah. Did you just randomly find one, Mark? Or...
Yeah. I had luck.
Aha. This is what we want, isn't it?
Yep.
Right. So if I do contributors.getlab.com/manage merge request / and then a merge request ID, then it basically loads a page which eventually I'm going to spruce up, and it'll allow you to add labels, request review, request help, etc. So I think for that one, yeah, that should definitely. So if I go to here, if I log out.
So essentially, you're building a UI for a merge request interface for merge requests.
Yeah, so just anything that we've like, we just want to improve the contributor experience and contributor journey, right? So one of the pain points is that, yeah, but basically in order to ask for a review or to ask for help or to label an MR, you have to use bot commands. And obviously trying to figure out what those bot commands are and how they work and trying not to make a typo and all of that stuff can be a bit awkward. So if we simply have, when you raise the MR, where was it was, yeah, Nicholas's one here. When you raise the MR, if it just says, hey, to like manage this merge request or to do certain stuff that you can't do through the UI, you know, click here and it just takes you to this, and then we have a whole bunch of things that you can do from here. We do obviously need to be careful. We want to get a balance. Like anything that we feel that we can bake into the products, we should. And you know, with the custom roles and that, I think there's maybe some more opportunity going forward to do a bit of that. But at the moment, like, because we allow a community member to manage only to add or remove certain labels, like that's a stretch too far. We probably could make it so that a community member, a wider community member, could add and remove labels full stop, or reviewers or whatever else. But yeah, to be that specific to say, oh, actually, these certain labels, etc., is just a bit far. So for the time being, yeah, we're going to move some stuff into this. I think even we're talking about maybe like a merge request dashboard that shows you a list of the MRs that you've got open, the ones that you're waiting for GitLab's response, the ones that you're still working on, etc. So we've already got this. You can drill down on any user and see merge requests and open merge requests and the status. But we're not pulling any useful information at the moment to show what the status of that merge request or state maybe is a better term. And we want to start using the information like what are the labels, are these back end, front end documentation, and then we could start to learn a bit more about you and offer you issues to contribute to without saying, oh, do you prefer back end or front end? Well, we know you've already merged 50 merge requests and they're all back end. So that's the awesome stuff that we're dreaming of. And it's just, yeah, the journey to get there. Yeah, I think that's us. How's it looking anyway? You think it's heading in the right direction?
The leaderboard is at a ranking, kind of like what you had on the like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside.
Oh, to put an actual number on there, okay, like on this one.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that it's really hard to get the balance between like we want to gamify and to have like healthy competition, but without obviously going too far and it being an unhealthy competition. And I don't really know how you avoid that. But yeah, I mean it's no drama to add that, and I think the avatars might be quite nice as well to add like a little bit of I don't know what you want to call it.
Do you remember why we didn't go to bring in GitLab UI? I remember there were some issues, but I can't remember which ones.
I think that it just didn't work with Vue 3.
Oh yeah, totally.
If you fancy having another stab at any point in the future, feel free. Although I also know that with GitLab, like we've made some interesting, I don't know what you want to call it, if decisions, but like we had our own utility classes, but I think we've ditched those and we're now using Tailwind utility classes. And
Yeah,
most
and
of our
also-
go on.
Yeah, probably most of the components are also going to ditch the Bootstrap implementation and be rewritten with to be completely framework, well, not really framework, but to work without the Bootstrap backend using basically the UI framework will be GitLab's one, not
Interesting, because that's what kind of the next point I was going to make is like 80% of our components are 80% just wrappers around Bootstrap Vue components, right?
Yep.
So I think that we've just kind of, and it's quite an old version probably of Bootstrap Vue. So we've basically just cut out the middleman here and just gone, let's go straight to Bootstrap Vue, but we're using Bootstrap Vue Next, which seems to be like fully compatible with Vue 3, etc.
Yeah, it's compatible with Vue 3 and it's using Bootstrap 5, whilst the older Bootstrap Vue that's being used in GitLab UI, I think it's still using Bootstrap 4. But now with moving away from Bootstrap itself to Tailwind, that dependency on Bootstrap is basically being removed. The only
But then presumably we couldn't use Bootstrap View components, right? Because that presumably uses Bootstrap CSS itself. So we could, I suspect that's why we either are or will be in this kind of horrible scenario where we've got our UI is wrapping Bootstrap View components. We've got Bootstrap CSS and we've got Tailwind CSS.
So if you think that Bootstrap View is just basically a wrapper, like if you use a Bootstrap View button, is just a button with the CSS classes already applied. And plus, if you have some logic, for example, to show the icon or show other stuff, recreating those base components shouldn't be impossible. Takes time for sure, but it's not impossible. But
I think that already exists, though, right?
Yes, but this is basically moving from depending on Bootstrap being maintained to Tailwind being maintained, which, okay, that's going to be the case, but recreating the components, it's not. If you think that 90% of the components that GitLab UI uses are still customized or rewritten.
Yeah, I mean, they are a little, but I don't really understand. So are we going to use Tailwind's components or not?
No. Tailwind's components, basically Tailwind's generates CSS classes for you. Tailwind's components are components similar to Bootstrap View. So if you do button, that creates a button with the classes already applied. If you get the button component from Tailwind UI, that would do the same.
Yeah.
But Tailwind UI is I think the UI components from Tailwind are a paid thing.
I believe they are, yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to create the Tailwind button from the Tailwind UI, you would just need to create a component and apply the right classes.
It seems interesting that we've made that decision. I'll have to read up more on it, but having to reinvent the wheel seems a bit mad.
Well, GitLab UI already reinvents the wheel.
Yeah. To be fair, it does, wrapping all the Bootstrap View components, but it's that extra little bit of functionality that we're adding, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but if you think that it's based on Bootstrap, but the spacings, the fonts, how the colors, and all of that, it's being rewritten, and now it's being also migrated to Tailwind. So it's just a matter of removing.
Oh yeah.
Basic
but then I almost think that I probably would have used that as a reason, maybe not to move to Tailwind, or to at least understand better. I'm sure there's some really good rationale for it somewhere, right?
I think they're moving to Tailwind because you don't have to manually create the classes. Because now the GitLab UI had some Sass mixins and stuff like that to create the classes. Now Tailwind takes it.
Yeah.
Also, there was some classes are, especially for responsive stuff, some classes are made one way, some other classes are made the other way. For example, some classes work like you set the min width and then you make it grow, and other classes that do the same thing but have the inverse logic. So you set the bigger value and set the smaller ones to be responsive. Tailwind, basically moving to Tailwind, I think that's solving also this kind of issue. So basically make it more logical.
Yeah, okay, that it makes sense, but I just feel like someone's going to have quite a lot of work on their hands. Like,
Oh, they're
um,
already doing it.
I don't know, like as well. Would you? I guess you surely it will involve plagiarizing because it Bootstrap View doesn't just add the classes. It
No.
does a lot more than that, right? It does stuff like adds like the modal thing is built from the ground up, right? It's like, okay, well, it's a div with a header and a footer and a like that's gonna take forever to create that from scratch.
Uh, yes and no. It depends. I mean, Bootstrap is quite generic because it's a framework that you could use to and bring that into any project and do pretty much do anything. While for GitLab, we could avoid making it too generic and do what GitLab needs and then expand it.
Okay, so what you're saying is we probably can't deprecate all of the existing components. We probably need to keep all the old ones, build new versions of all the components that just do what we want, but then add because what we'd have to I feel like this is what we'd have to do anyway. So like say the modal, okay, I'm going to implement a new modal. I'm not going to use the existing GitLab UI one. I'm going to build a new one in GitLab UI that does just what I want it to do,
Yep.
and then people can start looking at the old uses of the deprecated component and evaluate each one and say, can we use the new component? Oh no, it's missing this. Right, let's add this and just
Yeah.
a painful migration project like you have with any.
Yeah, but also that also helps with moving away from Bootstrap also helps with applying the logic coming from pajamas because Bootstrap has its own logic. For example, closing a modal can be done from the bottom, from clicking on the backdrop,
Yeah,
from clicking somewhere else, whilst
yeah.
the pajamas have different rules. And tweaking the Bootstrap implementation just to make it follow the rules it can be quite.
No, that's fair enough. I'll have to read up on it at some point. Anyway, hopefully our tweak will be helpful to Nicholas. Thanks very much for joining us as always, and yeah.